Inside Studio 31 at City National Arena, Daren Millard along with Gary Lawless. Happy game day, everybody. Game 5 of the Stanley Cup semifinal between the Vegas Golden Knights and the Montreal Canadiens returning to T-Mobile Arena. A lot to get to as the Golden Knights set for their morning skate in just a little bit. Welcome to the Morning Skate Report presented by UMC. But right now, let's get you straight downstairs to the morning availability by head coach Pete DeBoer.
I just think, our ability to stick with it, to find a way, I don't know if there's one area that's great. It's hard. It's hard to expose there's 4 teams left out of 31, and you're not going to expose a lot of areas. But, we've hung around and found a way, and we put ourselves in a good spot here.
David Shane, Las Vegas Review-Journal.
Hey, David.
We kind of building on that, a lot's been made obviously about the top 6 and scoring, but that line that they have with Deneau has not scored at all in this series either. And I know their role is a little bit different than, Mark Stone's line and things like that, but is that one area you're pleased in, that at least that line has been held in check from your end?
Yeah, I think defensively we've been good. Offensively, we obviously want more offense. This team shut down 2 very good offensive teams in Winnipeg and Toronto. So, and when you got a goalie like they have, you have to be prepared to play a lot of 1-0, 2-1 games, and you have to get contributions this time of year from guys who maybe don't normally score. And, McNabb and Waugh the other night, that's exactly what we're talking about. So, that's the way hockey is this time of year, and we're prepared to play that way.
Jesse Granger, The Athletic.
Jesse.
Hey, Pete, you mentioned familiarity with the opponent earlier. I'm curious, from your pre-series scouting, how different do you think this team has been maybe in these first 4 games, or are they pretty much doing what you expected them to?
I think they're doing what we expected them to. They swept Winnipeg, very good team, obviously without their number 1 center in Scheifele, but still, that's not an accident. And they beat, a very, very, very good Toronto team that was very deep and very dynamic. So, I think they've come as advertised. They make it hard on you. They don't give you a lot of room. World-class goaltending. They've got a couple of young, dynamic guys that have really stepped up here in the playoffs and helped them. I think they're as advertised.
Next question is from Brian Blessing.
Hey, Brian.
Good morning, Pete. You've addressed it in the playoffs. The players have as well. I don't know if it's an intangible thing, but the importance of getting off to a good start. What are some of the things you can do to help the players find their game from the drop of the opening puck?
Well, I think our starts have been getting better. I thought game 1 and 2, they were poor. Game 3, excellent. Game 4, just okay, but better than game 1 and 2. So I think we know they hang their hat on their starts, and ours have to be better. And I think we're working towards making sure that happens.
We'll take a few more questions here for Coach. Next question, Nick Kostanika.
Hey, Nick.
Hey, Pete, you said Stevenson's return was on the horizon yesterday. How does the horizon look today? And if he's able to play, how does that slot your forward lines just better, not just the first line?
Well, I would call him a game time decision tonight. And it slots us, like you want it to be slotted, where we have depth and scoring on all 4 lines, and we can create some mismatches. The few games that we've had a full lineup like that, I feel that we're a different team. So, we'll see. We'll make that decision at game time. His absence is missed, like Pacioretty's absence in the first round against Minnesota for 6 games was missed. But we found a way to keep competing here, and we're in a good spot.
And last question here is from Mark Masters, TSN.
Hey, Mark.
Hi, Pete. What do you appreciate the most about the way Robin Lehner approaches the game?
There's a lot of things I appreciate about Robin. I think first and foremost as a person, his courage in bringing a spotlight to what he's dealt with from a mental health point of view, with the only agenda being trying to help other people and other athletes. That's really admirable to me from a human point of view. From an athlete point of view, he's a world-class goalie that has a lot of pride in his game and confidence in his game, and to be able to go in there and do what he did on after having sat around for the amount of time he did was exceptional.
Coach, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Vegas Golden Knights head coach Pete DeBoer with some nuggets of information. And Gary, we should start with Chandler Stevenson, who appears to have gone from on the horizon to game time decision.
Yeah, that's a good sign. He's been upgraded from on the horizon to a game time decision, and obviously a real important add to the Golden Knights because Mark Stone and Max Pacioretty obviously had a big play on the Nick Waugh overtime winner, but they haven't got a lot done as a group at 5-on-5 in this series. They've had, they've used Alex Tuck there a little bit. They've used Nosek there a little bit, and just it hasn't been as effective as they'd like it to be. And with Chandler Stevenson there, they're one of the best lines in the National Hockey League.
Interesting that, and we'll take a look at the Station Casinos rink cam. Now that is a casual morning skate, isn't it?
That's a Conn Smythe Trophy candidate. That's what that is.
Alex Pietrangelo out there just getting a feel for the ice. I don't think I've ever watched somebody take the morning skate in shorts before.
Marc-Andre Fleury does it that way sometimes, although Mark would have a cap on as well.
Twirling around. So Chandler Stevenson, no goals in 14 games.
Yeah.
But still such a vital part to getting the other two guys going.
Well, yeah, he does a couple of things. He's able to use his speed to lead the group and get the puck into the offensive zone or dislodge it and act as F1 and start a forecheck. Or he can let Stone and Pacioretty move it up, and you can take a gear down and support them and allow them to be really free creatively, knowing that they have puck support, and if it turns over, Chandler's there. It just changes the whole dynamic. That's a hard thing to do when you're a fast guy. Alex Tuck hasn't mastered that yet. When Alex gets the puck, he's gone, and if he doesn't have the puck, his natural instinct is to go as well and to get up to that blue line and be part of being the first guy in. And they need puck support at times because Stone is so creative. He will go east-west at the opposition blue line, and 8 out of 10 times he makes the play. But when he doesn't, you can't have it go the other way on a 2-on-1, 3-on-1. You need puck support there.
How much stock do you put in if Chandler Stevenson can go, it allows everybody else to fall into their respective spots?
Well, big time. And what would those spots be would be interesting. I think that you'd leave Waugh, Janmark, and Tuck alone. You would leave, obviously, the misfit line alone, although they haven't really been going yet so far. Although Marchessault, he missed the net a couple of times. He had some looks, and it's usually a sign that he's getting closer, kind of finding his range. I think, maybe a little look at some film on Carey Price. And
is this a new thing right now that we're seeing?
What do you mean?
Like multiple players out in shorts?
Is that Martinez? It's hard to tell from here.
Marchessault.
Oh, it's Marchessault. He's got his beard has grown. We're never up close and personal with them. It is Marchie. Yeah, I guess it is a new thing. It's hot today. Yeah. It's actually cool today.
It's much cooler than it was early on in the series when games 1 and 2 opened with the temperature hovering outside 116, which I believe, I'm waiting for the official U.S. Weather Service report on this, was the hottest it's ever been for a National Hockey League game to open up this series. But that's a casual group 2-2 in a Stanley Cup semifinal series.
Yeah, well, they're obviously they're not going to participate in the full skate, but they probably want to get a feel for their stick. They want to probably get out on their skates a little bit. 5.5 hour flight yesterday back from Montreal. You like to get the legs moving
and just have some fun.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that actually we need to talk about goalies when you will, and the travel factors into that, I believe.
We have some questions coming in, and we want to hear from you. Check in with us. Where are you watching the morning skate stream? And the Station Casinos Rink Cam, UNC presenting this morning skate stream ahead of game number 5 here at Studio 31 at City National Arena.
We didn't get to finish the lines, and so my guess is that the fourth line would be Nosek in between Colasar and Carrier, and I'd be excited to see that line.
The Facebook stream is bringing us a question: do the top lines need to be more of a factor?
Yes.
You've survived through 4 games without them. The odds are that they have to. I'm not sure you can get through 7 without anything from them.
No, they need to produce. That's Mark Stone said it this year when they were going through their little slump. He just simply said the guys that get paid to score need to score. Simple as that. And it's in today's NHL where with a salary cap, with a hard salary cap, guys are slotted in for a percentage of the cap, and they have a role to perform when they take up that percentage. And the guys that take up the bigger percentage of the cap, they have to produce.
You mentioned that flat spot. That also coincided with Chandler Stevenson's 3-game suspension. Has Chandler Stevenson done more for his value or perception of his value to this team, importance to the team, by being out of the lineup than in the lineup?
I would always say no to that because, you don't want to be known as my value was revealed when I couldn't play. You know what I mean? He's good when he plays. He shows his value all the time.
Like,
obviously, for sure. Yeah. You know what I mean? When I'm out of town and I'm away and not able to do this stream, it suffers. So, that's I understand that. That's
it's different.
It is. It's different but the same.
Yeah, just a tad different. Facebook question coming in: will the coach switch up lines to get better matchups for Patches and Stones?
No.
Nope. YouTube, a question from Miss MKM is: what is Coach DeBoer telling the guys to help them solve Carey Price?
This is interesting. Carey Price has been okay. He hasn't been unbelievable. They've beat him enough to be really, I think they should be up 3-1. If you consider that, game 3 was a game that they were a minute and 55 away from winning before an unfortunate goal that, happens. Conor Fleury is not only a Hall of Fame goalie, he's a Hall of Fame puck handler. One of the best ever. Like that doesn't happen. It's 1 in a million. So Carey Price stops the shots he's supposed to stop, and he doesn't give up rebounds. He is not unbeatable. We saw Braden McNabb get one by him. Nick Waugh in the last game. You can get your goals on him, and 3 or 4 or 5 difficult, but with the goaltending the Golden Knights have, they can win 2-1 games.
You mentioned the travel. This is the first time in 16 months that Vegas will return home from playing in the Eastern time zone to suit up at T-Mobile Arena.
Yeah, it's a factor, you know what I mean? I woke up at 4:30 this morning, and I probably wasn't the only guy that felt that your clock was a little off. So, but they'll get their nap in this afternoon, and they'll be able to figure it out. And certainly, Montreal has to deal with the same thing as well. So, no excuse in that regard.
Via Facebook, a lot of people are saying that it doesn't really matter if we go with Leonard or Fleury. We need to get the puck in the net. Thoughts on that?
I don't. I think both goalies are equally in tune right now, and no decision is a bad one in that regard. So, Marc-Andre Fleury has been excellent. He had an unfortunate situation in Game 3. Robin Leonard went in and filled his shoes and gave up 1 goal. So, so let's get into this. They traveled to Montreal, played 2 games. Then they came back yesterday. They got to go back to Montreal tomorrow. And then if there's a Game 7, they got to come right back to Vegas. I don't think you want to play the same guy. I think there's an advantage there. Montreal is it's Carey Price or bust, right? So this is going to affect him. Why not take advantage of it? You're like a Major League Baseball manager. Throw your one ace out the one day and then rest him and throw your other ace out the next day. I would stagger the guys the rest of the series.
So rotation?
maybe you go with Leonard tonight and then go with Fleury back in Montreal, or Fleury tonight. And did I just say that? Maybe you play Leonard tonight, then Fleury in Montreal, or Fleury tonight and Leonard in Montreal, because maybe you do want Fleury ready for Game 7 if you have to play that at T-Mobile Arena.
You mentioned and throwing out the baseball rotation thing. Remember when teams would leave the starter or put the starter ahead?
I said that yesterday.
Yeah.
I said I would have considered leaving one of the two guys in Montreal. Yeah, because instead of spending 5.5 hours in the plane yesterday dealing with time change,
then 5.5 hours back.
Guy could have cooled his heels there and had some room service, gone up to the gym and gone on the treadmill for a little while. Although you can't leave Marc-Andre Fleury in a hotel room for 3 days, be bouncing off the walls.
You had some headwinds yesterday, 5.5. I thought it was like a 4:40 flight.
It was 5.5.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jake asking, the Golden Knights never seem to panic whether a teammate is out due to injury, if they're losing or if they're having a slow start. Have either of you ever seen a team react in this manner? It has been very impressive, the resiliency and the calmness of the team.
I've been through this a lot. This is a team that has been to, this is their third Final Four in 4 years. Fourth straight playoff appearance. Not a lot that, that these players haven't experienced, and that's what you really need at this time of the year. You have to be able to be, okay, they're up 1-0. We got 20 minutes to go. We score all the time. It only takes one play. Let's just keep doing our thing. And I think that's critical tonight. Play your game tonight, and I think Montreal is getting worn down. I think you need to really make them play 200 feet. Tonight's a dump and chase game for me if I'm the Golden Knights, and I try and create my offense from the goal line out. If the rush opportunity is there, obviously you take it, but don't force anything tonight. Don't give them something via transition. Make them really work for their opportunities.
Where are you watching right now? Let us know. And we have a couple of things, important things to get to in just a little bit. One is the media availability. The players will speak. We'll get you downstairs via the Zoom media conferences. And the other one is a sighting of one of the two goaltenders that could play tonight. We've witnessed Logan Thompson out there. Will we see Marc-Andre Fleury or Robin Leonard, or will they both skip the morning skate? We'll get to that as we continue from here in Studio 31 in City National Arena. We'll take a break and come back with more via the Station Casinos Rink Cam and the Morning Skate Report, brought to you by UMC.
Universal Solar Direct. Pay less for your electric.
Look at all these bills. We've got to find a way to save money somewhere.
Universal Solar.
Let's go solar.
Call Universal Solar Direct now to go on a power play with our exclusive offer. 0 down, 0 payments for 5 months, and 0 interest for 9 years. Invest today, save for a lifetime.
Universal Solar.
Proud sponsor of the Vegas Golden Knights.
Call 702-483-6900.
You got to put your heart and soul into it. Give it 110%. This is what you've been working for. You gotta play like there's no tomorrow, because...
Yeah, Dad. I got it.
Because this is where champions are made.
Vegas Golden Knight Alex Tuck is a hero on the ice, and off the ice he's doing something even more important. He's a registered organ, eye, and tissue donor. In the United States, more than 100,000 people are waiting for a life-saving organ transplant. That's more than 5 times the capacity of the Fortress.
We all have the power to end the wait.
My son Mikey saved 8 lives and healed many more.
Learn more about Nevada Donor Network and register to be a hero at nvdonor.org.
Third round of Stanley Cup playoffs, also known as the Stanley Cup semifinals, for this year only. It'll go back to the conference finals next year. Mm-hmm. I really enjoyed calling it the Stanley Cup semifinals.
Really?
It's old school. It just gives us a little more urgency.
I don't like it.
What's that?
I don't like it.
Really?
No, I like the conference final. You're playing for a trophy.
Mm-hmm.
You're playing for a trophy. Campbell Bowl.
Campbell. And you're right. It will be presented. It will be in Montreal.
Yep.
On Thursday night. And
Bill Daly will be in town.
Golden Knights and the Montreal Canadiens. So one team will have an opportunity to book its ticket to the Stanley Cup final. They will play for that 3-2 series lead tonight at T-Mobile Arena. We are watching the Station Casinos rink cam, waiting for a setting of either Marc-Andre Fleury or Robin Lehner. That's a story that we're following. Also Chandler Stevenson, Pete DeBoer earlier saying that he's a game-time decision.
Stormy Buonantony setting.
Stormy Buonantony is ringside at her regular spot just outside the glass, getting some content for GoldenKnights.com. So there's a lot happening around this team and lineup decisions, trying to generate a little bit more offense from the forwards. But that said, Alex Pietrangelo has just grown into this dominant forward force up front, whether he's patrolling the blue line in the offensive zone or patrolling deeper into the zone.
He's been fantastic. I wrote a blog last week, and I had Shane. I called it Shane's Synopsis, and I had him kind of break down what Alex was doing and what Shane kind of marvels at his ability to read the play. And sometimes he's leading the rush, sometimes he's sneaking up on the offside, and no one knows he's coming. He can follow it up and wait for a drop pass. Just really has that ability of know where to be. Never gets caught. And that part of that is because he's a great skater, but he also knows, okay, I need to bail now. I've got to get back into my defensive position. So, and then the defensive zone, he's sneaky physical. He's not dirty at all. Well, if you push him, he'll push back, but he finishes checks, moves people out of in front of the net, blocks shots when he has to. There's nothing to not like in his game right now.
A friend of his, a former National Hockey League defenseman, said that he's never watched Alex be more aggressive offensively in his career.
Carlos watched more of his hockey than I have, so I can't quibble with that at all.
And he's always wanted to play in this kind of system, and he is doing that. Brooklyn asking via YouTube, if VGK moves on to the final, would they rather face the Islanders or Tampa Bay Lightning?
Oh, don't pick your poison. Just take what's available. Yeah, both teams provide tremendous challenges. So high-octane offense in Tampa. The Islanders are a grueling team to play against. They roll four lines. They whack. There's Fleury. There's Lehner. So they're both out there. I don't know what we can make of that, but yeah.
Now we wait to see which one leaves first.
Yeah. If I was Pete DeBoer, I'd play some games with you guys that are automatically guessing as to, if he leaves first. Like, often they leave basically within 3 seconds of one another.
Yeah.
So I might just say, they're discussing it right now. No, that's Thompson. That's not Lehner. So
no, Thompson leaves first.
Thompson leaves first. That would mess up. That would mess up all the reporters that are sitting there breathlessly waiting to tweet who leaves the ice first.
Twitter just would blow up if Logan Thompson leaves. Is there a choice to be made here, knowing that Robin Lehner was so spectacular in Game 4 to get them even?
Yeah, I don't know. Pete DeBoer and I've quit trying to guess. I thought Robin Lehner was going to play Game 3. That was in my mind. Fleury had just played 1 and 2. He had games 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 against Colorado. Went 7 against Minnesota with the travel. I thought player Lehner in Game 3. That was kind of in the back of my head. They went with Fleury in Game 3, came with Lehner in Game 4. So in some sense, it would make sense to go with Fleury tonight because he's got some rest. In the other sense, Lehner was really good. So can we talk about it for a minute about Lehner? I think there's a couple of things that need to be addressed, for lack of a better term. This isn't about one goalie or another, and it's not about that for Marc-Andre Fleury, and it's not about that for Robin Lehner. It's not about some narrative where the organization wants one guy to succeed or the other. The organization wants to win the Stanley Cup. And when I say the organization, I mean Pete DeBoer, Robin Lehner, Marc-Andre Fleury, and all the players. And if you watch the game the other night, when Braden McNabb scored his goal. I don't know if they showed it on the feed here back in Vegas, but Robin Leonard went over and he tapped the glass where Marc-Andre Fleury was. Like, we're in this. And Fleury tapped the glass back at him. And another thing that happened throughout the game, Marc-Andre Fleury doesn't sit on the bench.
In Montreal.
In Montreal. There's the tunnel that goes out for the visiting team. It's on the opposite side of the ice, and there's a little spot there, and I think they give him a stool or something to sit on. And when Robin Leonard was moving in the net, Marc-Andre Fleury was moving on his stool, almost like willing Leonard to make saves and to get that win. And it was like they're partners.
Synchronized goalies.
Well, they are partners. And then after the game, Fleury struggled to get the gate open for a second, and because he wanted to get out there so fast to congratulate Robin. And eventually he did. And this was not, you're a goalie. You know what the usual little post-game embrace was. This was not, this was different. This was a real hug and, a lot of things. Mark had made a mistake, and, the team was down 2-1. Now they were even at 2-2 as a result of Robin's excellent work. And the organization and the team was 2 wins away from a bid in the Stanley Cup. And that's what matters. The other factor, the players, when they got to the podium, the first guys to talk, what did they say? They were super happy for Robin because, and the game that everybody points to, oh, he's terrible, the 7-1 loss, that game, whoever was in net, Fleury, Brodeur, Waugh, Jacques Plante, like whoever was, Millard, whoever was in net that night, the Golden Knights were losing that game. Robin Leonard took the loss and the heat and all of that for his team. And he didn't look over the bench asking for a mercy pull. He knew his job was to soak it up that night so that the starter, Marc-Andre Fleury, could get rested and give his organization and team and city a chance to win that next game. And the players all know that. This is a tremendous teammate, a guy who stood up in Minnesota when Marc-Andre Fleury was playing fantastic and the players in front of him weren't, and made a speech in the dressing room and said, hey guys, we're leaving Flower out to dry. Let's get better. I'm sure he used some words that were more passionate than the ones I'm using. Really important piece here, and I don't like the narrative of it one against the other. They're together, they're teammates, and they're Golden Knights.
If the players can figure it out, I think the fans can figure it out, because both guys want to play as much as anything.
The goal is to win the Stanley Cup, and it doesn't matter who's in net. It matters that the organization wins. And Marc-Andre Fleury and Robin Leonard both feel that way. Would you rather be the guy in net? Sure. Would you rather be in net and lose, or would you rather be a tandem and win? A tandem and win, and that's 100%. And you're right. If the players have their mind around that, I would think that the city and the fans would want to have their minds there too.
Your thought on trying to predict and get your head around which direction Pete DeBoer is going to go, it's a difficult one. When he went to the Stanley Cup final in 2012, there was no issue. It was Marty Brodeur.
Yep.
A couple of years ago, the San Jose Sharks against the Vegas Golden Knights, and Shane Niney and I talked about it. It was Martin Jones who struggled so much.
Well, you kept thinking he's not going to play Jones. He's got to
no
go the
way
other way.
He
He's got to go the other way.
Yeah, and Aaron Dell never got into the series,
Nope.
and Jones eventually figured out.
Yeah.
And last year there was a switching back and forth, and this year now we're into this interesting situation.
Flower's been tremendous, but you have two. And if you look at the history, when the Penguins last won, Fleury played the first 2 rounds, Murray played the second 2 rounds. And the next year, the Capitals, they ran with Grubauer for a while, and then they went over. You expect a guy to play every night for 2 months under that kind of pressure and that kind of travel. And this year, it's every other night. It's not like it has been in the past where you fly to a city, you have the next day off or you practice, and then you play. You fly, you go to bed, you get up the next morning and you play. 2 is more important than ever right now, I believe.
What do you see on the power play, and what would you like to see on the power play?
Goals.
Is there anything that might generate more of those?
I was watching NBC last night, and Patrick Sharp was talking about no more wrist shots from the blue line. He said those ones get blocked easier than. So I think that they have had some opportunities to take that slap shot and drive it through. I think the best way to beat Price is to shoot it at his feet, get him moving, and then hope for a rebound. Montreal is really good at compacting around the house. They make that seam pass really hard. They make the bumper pass really hard. The other thing for me, and I don't know if this can be changed, when you watch Tampa or you watch Washington from a couple of years ago, they don't miss one pass. And when I say they don't miss a pass, it's no one ever has to reach for it, or it's never in the skates. It's always right where it should be on the tape, so that guy can one touch it if he wants, right on to the next guy. And they get it moving, and they get it zipping around, and then all of a sudden, the penalty kill, you can't keep up. That you have more players, and the penalty kill, the whole thing for them is if you bobble it, then they can pounce. And Vegas bobbles it too much.
So just cleaner, right?
It's got to be cleaner, faster, and if you can't get there, then it's got to be simpler, and that means pounding it at the goalie and crashing the net and throwing a rebound in.
Yeah, Winnipeg's really good at that bumper spot, and I know Scheifele was out of the lineup for the final 3 games of that, but Montreal completely shut that down. So it's not just the Vegas man advantage.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like TJ Oshie really good at that. There's some guys in the league that are elite at it. Vegas, and I think Vegas has that guy. It's either Glass or Krebs, and they haven't arrived yet, but we'll see.
A quick word from one of our sponsors, Allegiant, the official domestic airline of the Vegas Golden Knights. Low fares, nonstop flights, only at Allegiant.com. We'll take you out to the Station Casinos Rink Cam and the Morning Skate, brought to you by UMC. It lets you enjoy some of the sights and the sounds of the Vegas Golden Knights preparation ahead of Game 5 tonight. Hope you're enjoying the live look-in via the Station Casinos Rink Cam of the Vegas Golden Knights morning skate report presented by UMC. Mike Rosati running a couple of drills. The Vegas Golden Knights goalie coach, Robin Leonard, has just taken over in goal, and over on the side boards is Marc-Andre Fleury, and now we watch to see who will leave first, and that will be the first pseudo indicator of who will be in goal tonight for Game 5 for the Vegas Golden Knights. Series is tied at 2 in the Stanley Cup semifinals. Vegas winning the opener. Game 4 going to the Golden Knights with Robin Leonard in net. Montreal winning games 2 and 3. You know, if you were an alien and you came to Earth and you watched Colorado against Vegas, you would be amazed by the sport of hockey. If you were an alien coming to Earth and you watched Montreal against Vegas and you watched the winning team come out of games 3 and 4, yet being outplayed, you'd be like, what is this all about? So there's been little twists and turns in emotion as Rosati and Marc-Andre Fleury have a little discussion before Fleury goes into his stretching regimen.
Ryan Craig's working with someone at center ice. I can't quite see who that is. I think it's Chandler Stevenson. I think he's working on some draw work. That looks like it was Chandler to me, and now he's about to step off the ice, so he's been working on face-offs. We'll see. Pete DeBoer has said that Chandler is a game-time decision. Obviously working, hasn't taken a face-off in a while, and they're very important. Phil Deneau very good in the draw, and that's who Chandler would be up against if he was in the lineup tonight. So that would make sense if he was doing a little fine-tuning in that area.
You were in Montreal, so you saw all the practices and the skates.
Yeah.
This is the first time we've seen Chandler Stevenson on the ice in a while, right?
We didn't see him in Montreal.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Pete DeBoer didn't reveal whether he was in Montreal or not. So we didn't see him on the ice
in attendance. But again, another positive sign. Yesterday he was on the horizon. Today's game time decision.
Yeah.
And he's out taking the morning skate presented by UMC, and Marc-Andre Fleury watching Robin Leonard take a few shots at the end of this morning skate. The whole thing started with Alex Pietrangelo and Jonathan Marchessault out there in shorts taking shots. So it's been quite the eventful return by Gary Lawless to the morning skate report here at Studio 31.
Ratings skyrocket when I return.
There's been a lot of action and a lot of back and forth between the Montreal fans and the Vegas Golden Knight fans throughout this series.
Yeah, the Canadiens fans are, and some of the media are of the opinion that the refereeing has been slanted in favor of Vegas. And if I was a Vegas fan, I would think the refereeing was slanted in favor of Montreal. That's part of a playoff series.
The standard, and it changes from game to game a little bit. The Minnesota series was fantastic, the consistency of it, all 7 games. But there's a little bit of loosening and then tightening game to game, even in game the other night. But I thought it was fairly consistent team to team.
Yeah, I don't have any problem with the officiating. And the refereeing is better now than it ever has been. The microscope on referees, 4D, HD, all of the camera angles, the slow-mo, the ability to look at a play, from 4 different angles. Referees got to call it in live action. And unless you want to, put an eye in the sky and have Toronto or New York or whoever buzzing in every time there's an infraction that the referees missed, which would be terrible. It would slow the game to a crawl. Then this is where it is right now, and we're going to have to deal with it. I don't like the narrative. I think it's I think that the referees, again, I think they're better than they ever have been. I think that we just see more as a result of technology.
Marc-Andre Fleury hopping over the boards and heading to the dressing room. And if I was able to right now, I wasn't talking to you, I would be on Twitter just watching it explode as all the reports go up. But the first indicator of a starting goaltender for the Vegas Golden Knights is Marc-Andre Fleury, who leaves the morning skate first.
Yeah, and that makes, it makes sense as of what we've just talked about. He had the last game off, and they had travel, and they got to travel back. So this makes sense to me, and that wouldn't surprise me if DeBoer goes to a rotation here for a little bit of this series, and maybe even longer. Like that. First of all, Robin Lehner was the Robin Lehner that we first saw when he first arrived in Vegas. Played between the posts, was in the blue ice all night, and forced the Canadians to beat him. Didn't beat himself at all, and he was tremendous.
Robin Lehner, Marc-Andre Fleury, and why not go to a rotation? Because that's about the only thing we haven't seen in the Stanley Cup playoffs, and that type of approach to it. But for at least in this scenario, following what is traditionally a strong indicator of the starting goaltender, Marc-Andre Fleury leaves.
The other indicator here is Patrick Brown is still on the ice with Ryan Reeves and the Silver Aces, who are going to take some extra work here. So if Patrick Brown is off the ice and Ryan Reeves is if Patrick Brown is on the ice and Reeves is on the ice and Stevenson and Colasar are off, you would think that those guys, they have a chance to be in the lineup, and that would give Vegas its best lineup in the playoffs so far.
When Chandler Stevenson returned off his 3-game suspension, it was Max Pacioretty who said it looked like he'd been shot out of a rocket ship because he just had the chance to get some rest. Now, they were playing 4 and 6, and it was an insane part of the schedule.
This is a good point by you. If he's in tonight, he'll be flying.
But, yeah, he'll be going, and that just gives everybody a little bit of jump.
Yeah, and Montreal at times has, they're very fast as well. Danoa's a great skater. Byron has elite speed. Suzuki's a tremendous skater. Caulfield gets a step on people. They've got some juice up front.
Let's go downstairs. Morning availability. You've heard from Pete DeBoer. Here is Keegan Colasar.
Next question from Simon Olivier Lorange, La Presse.
Hi, Keegan. I know this is coming from left field, but yesterday we all saw a football player called Naismith is coming out from the Las Vegas Raiders. I was wondering what do you feel it means for a market like Vegas and for sports in general to see a guy like this make such a commitment?
Personally, I don't know Twitter or anything, so I don't really follow the news or media or anything like that. So I don't even know personally what your question's about. Sorry.
Next question from Ted Sobel. Ted, go ahead and unmute yourself if you have a question.
Yes. Hi, Keegan. Thanks for the time. I'm wondering your thoughts on what Chandler Stevenson means to the club, and if he's able to come back as a game time decision. Coach just talked about it. How does that affect your club when he's not there?
Chandler's a tremendous player. He's a guy who's won it as well, so he knows what it takes at this time of the year. He does everything for us. First line, power play, PK, plays a lot of heavy minutes for us. And I think also the beauty of our team is we have that depth where if we are missing a guy, someone else steps up and gets the job done. So he is a huge piece of us, but I also think as a team that we have great depth.
If you have a question, please utilize the raise hand feature and unmute yourself. Mark Masters, TSN.
What stands out to you about the relationship Marc-Andre and Robin have been able to form?
They're amazing. You see two goaltenders that, in my opinion, are number ones, and to have them supporting each other like they do, it's awesome. There's no jealousy. There's no tension between them. They both want to see each other perform well and get the job done.
Justin Emerson.
You want to win every game, of course, and you'd rather be up 3-2 in the series than down 3-2. So apologies for the obvious question, but I guess just how important is winning tonight, making sure that you're not going back to Montreal for an elimination game.
Yeah, it's important. every game matters. We battled hard last game to make it a even series to give ourselves a good chance with home ice here. So, like I said before, this is a big game, and we're worried just about this one right now.
Keegan, thank you for your time.
Thanks, guys.
Interesting comments from Keegan Colasar regarding Chandler Stevenson and his impact on the forwards and what he provides as far as an influence.
Yeah, he's just a really good player. It's funny, he was in a position in Washington where he was, basically on their fourth line. Dan Duva tells this story all the time. We were in Vancouver, and Chandler had just kind of joined the Golden Knights and was starting to climb up the lineup at that point in time. And Dan said to Jay, "Did you know that Chandler had this in him?" And he said, "I've known it for a long time. I didn't want anyone to find out because I didn't want him to take him off my line. I loved playing with him so much." And if you watch Chandler Stevenson in the Western Hockey League, like Kelly McCrimmon and Bobby Lowe's did for quite some time, they'll just tell you flat out he was a really good hockey player at that level. And guy can really skate. He's thick. He's got that sneaky fast release. There's lots to like about him, and I think playing with Stone and Pacioretty has been the fit of a lifetime for him.
Yeah, Jay Beagle would be able to speak to what Chandler Stevenson can bring. You've got the speed, you've got the footwork, you've got the hands. The chemistry appears to be really what drives the
him
importance.
And Stone are they're like best friends off the ice, which is always a good thing for guys on the ice. And Stone and Pacioretty obviously have something that you just don't see that often amongst players.
They split the two games at T-Mobile Arena, and then half the series when it went to Montreal for those two games, so it's 2-2. But the pair at T-Mobile Arena, the first periods were at issue for the Vegas Golden Knights. That will be the first thing to get out of the way tonight.
Yeah, well, you're going to have Stevenson in the lineup, which will add a little oomph to things, and I think that obviously, coming back from Montreal and being at 2-2, Vegas has the opportunity to take a stranglehold on this series. They have their fans. They'll have a full building. Really shouldn't be a slow start. Although, I'll say this. Sometimes the big crowd at T-Mobile, it makes the Golden Knights, nervous isn't the right word, but sometimes they're a little tentative in front of them. Tonight's not the night for that.
It's almost like they hold back because they're not trying not to get too involved.
I don't know.
And I'm reading into it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
but you know what I mean, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they look a little tentative at times in front of their home crowd, and maybe they overthink things because they really want to please the crowd. And now, so I said this recently, and someone said, "Oh boy, Lawless is saying the crowd is the problem."
That was me. No, it wasn't.
There you go.
Sorry.
So it came from someone just like Daren.
I'll never forget the New Jersey Devils. They were the last team to play before the pause a year ago. And they told me that, or somebody in their staff told me, that they approached that like their Stanley Cup, playing at T-Mobile Arena because of the crowd, because of the atmosphere, and they couldn't wait to get out there. So there's a little bit of influence and certainly motivation for the other side.
The crowd is an advantage. It's up to the Golden Knights to use it.
Mm-hmm. And people should worry about our relationship way more than Robin Leonard's and Marc-Andre Fleury's, right?
Definitely, yes, exactly.
We've got some issues that we need to work through. As Robin Leonard sits and talks to Mike Rosati, Marc-Andre Fleury left earlier, so the predictions are that Marc-Andre Fleury will get the start for game number 5, but we'll wait and see. The VGK Insider Show goes at 4 o'clock until 5 o'clock. The Nighttime at Noon program on Fox Sports Las Vegas coming your way midday, so plenty more Vegas Golden Knights chatter throughout the day. Day-long coverage ahead of game number 5, and then, of course, the contest itself on the VGK Radio Network with Gary Lawless and Dan Duva coming your way just after 6 o'clock, and you can watch it also on NBCSN just after 6 o'clock. So television, radio, we've got you covered. Live streams as well. Enjoy game number 5. The winner takes a 3-2 series lead back to Montreal for game number 6. Enjoy.